Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the VGU review for Aatrox, the Darkin Blade, the newest champion for League of Legends. I'm your host and LOL expert, Don the Experticals, and here today I will give you the look into Aatrox and what I believe he brings to the League of Legends floor. Now, if you would prefer to see the written version of this review instead of a video version, the link is in the description below for you guys. But if you are here, please enjoy the show, and I hope you enjoy the review. So, Aatrox for Darkin Blade is a melee champion with an emphasis on attack speed and attack damage in order to inflict pain and sustain himself. The champion has a moveset that requires the use of health as a resource, so sustaining your health is a major priority when playing as this champion. How does he play out? Is he deserving of his powerful blade, or doesn't he even deserve using a stick as a weapon? Let us have a look and find out as we dig in to Aatrox. Start things off with his default skin, which in-game looks really great. It makes Aatrox look powerful and demonic, which is how he's been portrayed. The only fault that can be made of his skin in-game is that his wings, for the most part, look like damaged flags rather than wings, which is a little bit off-putting. But as for the champion's portrait, in all honesty, it's a bit of a letdown. As Aatrox in-game looks great, the splash art does little to encompass how good Aatrox looks. It may be trying to cash in on the demonic side of Aatrox looks, but it shows no sign of coolness or power. Overall, it leaves a lot to be desired, which is a shame because Aatrox looks great. And he looks even better in his Justicar skin, which is fantastic on both fronts. The portrait shows off how amazing the champion looks with a new angelic look to him, and as for the in-game skin, wow, it blew my breath away. The Archangel style armor suited the champion really well, and even changed his particle effects on some of his abilities, and to make them more in tune with the design that they were going with the skin. As well as that, it also changes Aatrox's recalling animation. Whilst Aatrox in his default skin will dig his blade into the ground and, channel his energy in order to bring himself back to base, Justicar just simply raises himself into the sky and gets zapped back to base, which is pretty darn cool. Now, putting aesthetics aside, let's get down and dirty with Aatrox's abilities. Starting off with his passive, Bloodwell, cooldown of 225. Whenever Aatrox uses an ability that costs health, he stores 100% of the health cost into his Bloodwell. The maximum amount of health the Bloodwell can store is equal to 30 plus 45 times level. If Aatrox has dealt or received damage in the last 5 seconds, his Bloodwell will deplete at a rate of 2% per second. Upon taking fatal damage, Bloodwell activates and places Aatrox in stasis for 3 seconds. Over the stasis duration, the Bloodwell is emptied and Aatrox restores health equal to its contents, plus 10.5 plus 15.75 times level. Bloodwell's activation has a static cooldown and is unaffected by cooldown reduction. Also, Aatrox's passive increases its attack speed by 1% for every 2% in the Bloodwell. Well, what can I say about his passive? It allows him to cheat death every 225 seconds and come back with a vicious vengeance. So that's pretty cool. And one thing to keep in mind with his passive is that you will come back with more health if you have more Bloodwell filled up. Now you can see how much you have stored by simply looking underneath your health bar, because instead of mana, you're using obviously health as a cost, so they had to put something down where the mana bar is, so you've got your Bloodwell stuff there. So it's not miles away, you don't have to keep checking like the little pop-up that keeps coming up. No, it's right there at all times and it's easy to look at. Now the cooldown does mean that you will not be abusing the ability, so be very wary when it is down, since you will really need to keep an eye on your health levels, especially since you use health as an ability resource. We'll get into more detail about definitely keeping an eye on your health levels when we hit the later abilities. Next we have his Q, Dark Flight, a range of 650, cooldown from 16, 15, 14, 13 and 12, and it costs 10% of your current health. Upon activation, Aatrox takes flight and slams down at a target area, dealing physical damage to nearby enemies upon landing. Enemies in the center of the area are also knocked up for 1 second. Now this actually does quite a bit of physical damage, as well as 60% of your bonus AD as physical damage as on top of that. Now Aatrox's Q is the crowd control king of his ability set. With Dark Flight you'll be able to initiate from jungling as well as help out in ganking situations in top or mid lane. Although it has a good AD ratio, this ability doesn't seem to do as much damage when it hits late game in comparison to early and mid play, This isn't a problem, however, as late game you'll be using this more for the knocker or for a getaway tactic or to jump over walls rather than damaging an enemy. Now, as for the range, it can take a little getting used to begin with, but after a little bit of training, you'll be getting used to the ability, and before you know it, you'll be a king at getting Dark Flight spot on and getting those knockups every day of the week. Next up, we have his W. BloodThirst and Blood Price. Cooldown of 0.5 seconds because literally it's a toggle on and toggle off, so it's not to worry about. When it's toggled off, it's in BloodThirst. Aatrox heals himself on every third attack, and if Aatrox is below 50% health, he'll heal for 3 times as much. Now the heal puts into consideration 25% of your bonus AD, and the enhanced heal will give you 75% bonus AD on top of what it already gives you. Now as for the toggled on version, which is Blood Price, Aatrox deals bonus physical damage on every third attack at the cost of health. Now the bonus physical damage you'll be dealing out will be increased by 100% of your bonus AD, which is really good, and the health cost will also go up on your third attack by an extra 25% bonus AD as well, so you got to keep that in mind and you got to keep it in check. The W of this champion's ability set does make Aatrox a true formidable force. With a passive on BloodThirst, you'll be gaining health as your main source of non-item sustain. This ability is useful for jungling and farming, but can also be handy in fights where you need to out-sustain your opponent rather than out-damage them. The other side of it, however, Blood Price is the ability that can truly cripple opponents, from taking down carries with ease to knocking out tanks like they were nothing. As long as you have attack speed to back this ability up, you can deal some serious pain. And trust me, that's pain you want to be bringing to the table every day. Now next up we have his E, Blades of Torment, a range of 1000, cooldown of 12, 11, 10, 9 and 8, costs 5% of your current health, and here's what it does. Aatrox unleashes and sends forward the power of his blade, dealing magic damage to enemies in a line and slowing them by 40% for a few seconds. It does deal magic damage instead of physical damage and puts into consideration 60% of your bonus AD as well as 60% of your bonus AP, so keep that in mind. As for the slow duration, at lower ranks you'll be seeing it go about 1.75 seconds, but then fully maxed out you'll be looking at a good 2.75 seconds slow, which is very solid. Now Blades of Torment is the first move you should definitely focus on Aatrox due to its damage potential and slow infliction. Keep in mind as well that this alongside Aatrox's ultimate have AP ratios. This means that Aatrox can be built hybrid if you wish to in order to maximize on damage. Regardless of how you build, however, this will be the move you will use the most, as it is needed in champion chases, as well as those matchups where you can hit all enemy champions in a line with this one move. Do not underestimate Blades of Torment, and this and the ultimate are the two reasons why Aatrox can actually be built attack speed AD AP hybrid. Speaking of his ultimate, here it is, his ultimate, Massacre. It's a cooldown of 185 to 70 at highest rank. It costs absolutely nothing to pop off, and here's what it does. Aatrox draws in the blood of his foes, dealing magic damage to nearby enemy champions. For the next 12 seconds, Aatrox gains bonus attack speed and 175 bonus attack range, which adds up to 325 total range. His attacks are still considered melee. Now magic damage, it does deal just a quick burst of magic damage, not that much, but it does also keep in mind 100% of your bonus AP, so if you are building hybrid, it will put that into consideration quite a bit. And for the attack speed, you'll be looking at low levels of 40%, but then when it's fully ranked, 60% bonus attack speed, which is pretty nice. Now, keeping in mind, Aatrox's ultimate is a no-cost AoE ability that allows him to become a real bruiser. You do not use this ability in the middle or end of a fight in order to score a kill like other ultimates. Instead, you're better off casting this early in the fight in order to gain your bonus speed and range so that you can use your W more efficiently. Like his Q, this can be slightly awkward ability to use at first, but after a while of play you'll soon get used to him, you'll know when to time it correctly, and before you know it you're killing everyone left, right and centre. Now, let's have a look at the champion plays and how he plays out a little bit. The champion plays out really well in lane, and some may say a little bit too well. Aatrox players will constantly be playing aggressively in lane in order to get you out of position and for him to basically kill you, even if it costs him his blood well. Now you may experience that after Aatrox's passive triggers, you need to play completely differently in battle. Apart from going headfirst into a fight guns blazing, you need to focus on doing damage that will out-sustain your opponent. This is when BloodThirst will be more efficient than Blood Price. Something that has been discussed as well in-game with some players that I've been talking to is Aatrox's seemingly flimsy build. Some players have come out saying that they have had troubles playing with Aatrox due to building him as a straight-up damage dealer and getting killed outright. The trick to building Aatrox is not to build straight AD, or even build full tank. Don't think of that. Instead, you gotta build more of a sustained bruiser with items like Frozen Mallet and Warmogs, matched together with items like Wit's End and Blade of the Ruined King. This champion is best played when you have a balance of sustainability, damage, and speed. If you can balance all three of these together, you have the ultimate killing machine in the top lane. Overall, Aatrox is a good addition to the League of Legends roster and is a different experience to those who call themselves king of the top lane. If you know how to build bruisers or sustain carries in a lane, then this is a champion for you. However, if you're not used to building a champion like this, you may want to wait and try him out during free week or even on a friend's account just to see whether it suits your playstyle before going quids in. So, my final verdict on Aatrox. Now, when it comes to final verdicts with League of Legends reviews, we either say buy, try, or no. Buy simply means definitely get him. Try means try him out and see for yourself whether it suits you. And no is definitely do not get this, it's not right, no. In Aatrox's case, it is a very firm try. He is a bit of a mixed bag, and to some people he will be awkward to play as, but other people he'll be a really fun experience. So if he suits your playstyle, I would suggest get him. If you're a little bit iffy, or if you're doubting potentially getting him, wait until free week comes along, or if you know your friend has it, try it out on your friend's account and see for yourself whether it is all worth it. So there you go guys, that is the review of Aatrox for Darkin Blade. But what do you think of a new champion? Do you think he is a worthy top laner, or do you think he isn't ready for that kind of commitment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to check out and share your experiences as Aatrox in the VGU forums, which does have a link in the description below as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this review. I'm your host, Dom the Expert at Coles. Be sure to subscribe for more reviews in the future from both League of Legends and other games out there, as well as also keep an eye on our current main series going on, the VGU Poker Run. Until next time, we'll be seeing you guys on the fields of justice.